It's finally time. I've set a date. We're going to take this Crusty Commando out on its first off-road test. I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. There's only one big problem. I've set the date for 14 days from today, and there's quite a few things that I've got to button up on this to make sure that it's mostly ready to go. My buddies from Sibco Off-Road, the ones that joined me in the last video, where we tackled Hell's Gate there at Cross Bar Ranch, have agreed to go along with me and help me just in case anything breaks. Yeah. Let's hope it's nothing like the first test drive we took this thing on. All the small tools.
Oh! Yeah, I'm fine. Camera's right next to it, so you can have some good film.
Well, that's good.
Money worm.
Before we dive into the madness that I need to get done on this Jeep in 14 days, let's take a look back at where this thing started. Now, you might remember this thing. We found it sitting in a field. It was a full pile of rust. Definitely had a questionable past. It had no engine, no suspension, and a body that looked like it'd been through more fights than a UFC champ. And there was definitely potential, but I wasn't sure if the price was quite right. Okay, I'm kidding. At $0, there's no way I could pass it up. So what I do to get this thing working, I took a Jeep Cherokee, took the motor, transmission, axles, everything that I could from that thing. It was running, it wasn't driving, but most importantly, it was rolling on wheels. So I took all of that, put it together, and made this wonderful Jeep that you see today. So now let's dive in, because 14 days from today, I'm testing the Commando's off-road chops, and we're gonna see what this thing does. Well, the first thing that I need to do to go ahead and get this thing ready to go is finish all the tube fenders. Now, this thing might look like it's got plenty of clearance, and it kind of does now that we've cut out some room, but initially I would say this thing might be worse than a 1998 Toyota Camry. Or, I don't know. Yeah, it's not great.
Oh, found that fender.
Did I get it that time?
Yeah, you popped right out of it.
So I've got these tube fenders, hopefully going to get them finished up. I've got a bit of an exoskeleton here going. If there's things you guys want to see about this process, make sure to leave some comments because I'll probably be working on these after this video is posted. So guys, that's the first thing. I need tube fenders to hopefully keep the interior a little bit cleaner, provide some protection, and that additional wheel clearance to get all the suspension travel I can. So step one, tube fenders. Step two, let me show you. Boom. All right, so step two, this thing needs some protection. If we look under here, the transmission, the oil pan, everything is completely unprotected. Here, let me show you. All right. So lighting might be a little bit dim, I apologize. But you can see I've got my transmission here completely exposed. The lowest point on this whole thing is actually the back of this oil pan. And if we look, it's pretty good. But the distance from the ground down here to that oil pan is only 18 inches. And I feel like that's a little bit scary, that I might find a few rocks while we're out. So part one, tube fenders. Part two, all new skid plates for underneath this thing. I've got some really clever ideas, I think, to solve it. So stick around. And the final thing that is probably the most important, let me show you. The last and probably most important thing I've got to get done before I get out there is fixing this rear suspension. Let me show you what's wrong with it. If you guys haven't, I've already done one full video of me trying to fix these leaf springs, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm not sure if chuck wagon technology is my favorite and if it's something I want to stick to. So I'm going to give it one more try, something that's going to cost me no money but hopefully fix this leaf spring problem. Let me show you what it is. So if we look really close, you can see these are mostly flat, which that's not an issue, but as we look further up, you can see they're starting to go into a negative arch just sitting at rest. And part of that problem is I got this giant right here, giant 20 plus gallon fuel tank that really adds a lot of weight. I finally have been working on the roll cage, which hopefully that video will come out soon. If there's things you guys really want to see, let me know and I'll provide some details as I'm making that video. But all of that makes these leaf springs unhappy. I've got what I think might be the perfect plan, so stick around and that video is going to be coming out soon. So there we have it, guys. I've got tube fenders, I've got rear suspension, I've got skid plates. I've got to finish all those things to hopefully make this thing ready to go to get out on the trails. I don't think it'll be too bad, but 14 days, having a full-time job, kid, all those wonderful things will make it a little bit tricky. But, you know, if you don't set deadlines, do you really ever have a reason to finish? Guys, stick around, leave some comments on what you would like to see about the process, because hopefully I'll post this video before I start or finish all those things so I can add whatever it is that you guys want to see. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff.
Money worm.